Right, welcome to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. This dropped 2 days ago. No, yesterday, sorry. This is James Wan developing monster movie for Universal. This is an exclusive over on The Hollywood Reporter. I'm going to say straight off the bat, as you probably read from the title, this is Frankenstein. I'm going to piece together some bits and pieces, which will probably... We can all agree that this is going to be Frankenstein, right? So, James Wan is not going to be directing. Okay, that's really important to note, because if you like him as a director, and this has you amped for James Wan, the director, he's not directing. Okay, but this is no surprise, ladies and gents. Obviously, why is this? No, of course, it's no surprise. We knew that this was going to happen. Universal have been desperately trying to get their Universal monster movies up and off the ground for so damn long. So this is no surprise, because we had a smash hit with The Invisible Man. Really done very, very well. Incredibly well received. Far and above any of the other movies that they've been doing in their kind of their strive to release, monster movies. Now, off the back end of that, we're going to start seeing a lot of these now being posited out there into the fray. Oh, hey, we're going to do this and we're going to do that. But I think this is going to be Frankenstein. And I don't hate the sound of it, but I do have some reservations. But let's get into it. So Robbie Thompson, a long-time writer and co-executive producer on CW's Supernatural. Okay, is penning the script. Now, James Wan and Universal Pictures are teaming up for a monster movie. Robbie Thompson, a long-time writer and co-executive producer on CW's Supernatural, is penning the script for the Untitled horror thriller. Now, here we go. Sources say the story takes its cues from Universal's classic monster legacy and shines it through a modern prism. I mean, that's what they've been doing for the last while now. That's nothing really to take note of. With shades of Disturbia, the story will focus on a group of teens who discover that a neighbour is building a monster. Sorry, well, what's that going to be then? It's going to be Frankenstein, right? Of course it is. Spoiler, the monster gets loose. Now, the interesting thing here, Wan is just the producer, basically. So Wan is not directing the project, but will produce via his Atomic Monster banner. Now, this is surprising, because Universal and Blumhouse have a first look deal with one another, right? That's what they've been doing. Now, the other part which I wanted to show you was this, right? So the evolution of horror. It's basically an interview, a podcast website. And these guys interviewed Jason Blum and Leigh, right? And obviously I'm not going to play that for you now. You can go over here and you can watch it yourself. But the Invisible Man producer, Jason Blum, right? Obviously Blumhouse, said, "I'd love to do Frankenstein. I've tasked our filmmakers with trying to figure out just straight Frankenstein." Okay. Again, I don't know if someone else is doing it. Sorry, what? I don't know anything about it, but I would love to try, and I'm waiting for the great idea. The Invisible Man, I agree. The best ideas feel like, oh my gosh, it's so obvious. Why didn't that happen before? If you could come up with something as good as Frankenstein, I'd love that. So, look, I think this is probably going to be Frankenstein. And I think the reason why they're kind of talking about it there, obviously despite being questioned and things like that, what else could this be? A neighbour building a monster in his basement. The monster gets loose. I mean, it's Frankenstein, isn't it? Now, the new project happens in the glow of the success of The Invisible Man, which overperformed when it opened last week. The movie seems to reaffirm the studio's position of jettisoning the idea of an interconnected monster universe. Yeah, God, don't do that anymore. Something it tried to launch with Tom Cruise's The Mummy. That was a dreadful film. And take a filmmaker-driven approach instead. It already has projects in the works from Dexter Fletcher, great name, Paul Feig, terrible, and Elizabeth Banks, terrible. The Elizabeth Banks one's interesting because that's supposedly The Invisible Woman, which, god damn, I really hope it's not a sequel to The Invisible Man, because Obviously, mild spoiler at the end of the film, I guess. Please just scrap that idea, Universal. You're going to piss on everyone's fireworks. In addition to wading in monster territory with Supernatural, so this is Robbie Thompson, the CW writer. Thompson is currently a writer on Cursed, Netflix's modern-day set reimagining of the King Arthur legend, and based on the young adult books by Tom Wheeler and Frank Miller. He is repped by artists First Ink and Sloan Offer. Now, Warner and his Atomic Monster have been busy. And the company is in post on creepy thriller Malignant, which Wan directed. It's due for release August 14th. The company is also producing the latest installment of The Conjuring, subtitled The Devil Made Me Do It. Please stop those movies. And obviously there's Someone Inside Your House from Netflix. And then interestingly, Mortal Kombat. Goddamn. So look, I still think this is likely to be Frankenstein. Now, I don't necessarily think that that's a bad thing. I just think, I don't know. I'm not overly... The whole thing, again, right, James Wan on board, great, perfect, no worries. He can do good horror movies. It does get a bit locked into the business of Hollywood and things being... overproduced and oversaturated. Oh, hey, we've got a cool idea. Great. Let's just milk that cow dry until it's a husk of beef jerky. But he can do good stuff. Now, Robbie Thompson, on the other hand, look, CW, not ideal, is it? It's not an ideal jumping off point. And then, again, so we need to break it down. Okay, like I say, with James Wan, can be good. Can go cash cow milking. Robbie Thompson, CW, could still be good because worked on Supernatural. Supernatural's quite good. We pair them together, could be really good, but then you hear what the story's about. And that's when I start to get my kind of reservations. Sources say the story will take its cues from classic monster legacy. The story will focus on a group of teens. That's very CW-ish, isn't it? Right? That's when we start to go, ooh, doesn't sound that great. Ooh. And they will discover that a neighbor is building a monster in his basement. And the monster gets loose. Ooh. That's when we start to go, oh, that's full-blown CW garbage. I don't know. I've got some reservations about this, but I hand it on over to you. What do you think? And again, what do you think about the comments by Jason Blum here? To me, it sounds like Universal have maybe posited a few filmmakers, a few production studios in discussions for Frankenstein. But I do think what's really interesting here is now James Wan and Jason Blum are going to be in direct competition with one another. And yes, they all help one another move forward in the industry, because if monster movies do well, they all get work and so on and so forth. But Blumhouse had essentially a first look deal, I believe, with Universal. Or at least they'd had a locked in deal with Universal. What's going on with that now? The fact that James Wan is now developing monster movies for Universal. Very, very surprising. Really, really surprising, in fact. And I think that's probably the biggest take home here, is that Jason Blum and his Blumhouse is not a clear-cut winner at Universal just yet. But anyway, I hand it on over to you. What do you guys think? Good news? Bad news? Again, remember, I say, group of teens, CW writers, James Wan and his cash cow milking sometimes. Could be good, could be bad. But I'd love to hear your thoughts, so please do let me know down below in the comment section. As always, if you are new here, please do hit subscribe. You can stay up to date on the world of pop culture and movie news by hitting the bell notification icon. I believe I've been saying this recently anyway. Please do go and follow my backup channel, More Mr. H Reviews. You'll find a link to that in a pinned comment. It's just a backup just in case this channel goes under. I am going to be migrating like my retrospective reviews and comedic based hate reviews over there soon. So a lot of you guys might have actually missed them. Head on over there, subscribe, and make sure you turn the bell notifications on. You may catch something now, which I released a long time ago, that you may have missed. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. I've been Mr. H. Take care.